Let me come clean first. I have never designed a level more complex than an office-type space I made for one of my previous games. And for my game Megaheaven, which is a movement shooter heavily leaning into verticality of it all, I really needed to outdo myself with level design if I wanted to create a space that would suffice for such a fast-paced game. So let's first see what I needed to accomplish. All the levels, but for now just one, need to satisfy these conditions. Have enough room for a player to move in, contain an interesting enough geometry for both player and enemies to traverse, fit into both the lore and the style of the game, and be a megastructure, obviously. The current prototype map satisfies... wow, it's none. It's pretty much what one would expect from a prototype, but even still, it's not useless, and you can still see some design choices here from this initial layout to the final map. So after blendering it for a few days and changing the geometry of the prototype map, I had this. So let's examine it for a bit. It definitely has enough room, but what are these weird pipes? How would I add those? This is actually the quote-unquote interesting enough geometry I was talking about. The pipes are a way for a player to extend aerial combos, not having to fall down to earth. These rings actually serve pretty much the same purpose. In a vertical game, it only makes sense to have a vertical and diverse level, and also it's a geometry for gadflies to stick to. Now that it is functional, let's make it actually look good. With textures applied and details like these giant fans and exhaust fans added to break up the monotony of concrete, it actually looks really pleasing to the eye. I'm genuinely proud of what I accomplished in terms of visuals. And with that, we actually checked all of our boxes for making a level worthy of Megaheaven. Let's see how it plays. But wait, did you see that? What is that? If you have watched any of my previous devlogs, and I hope you have, you could have noticed that the dual AKs lack any sort of ability. While the katana has a parry with a dash and sniper, well, it zooms in, but it can also fire an explosive shot, the AKs just kinda shoot. And for the longest time, I couldn't choose whether I wanted them to throw out a grenade similar to a shotgun from ULTRAKILL or do like a grappling hook. You would never believe what I ended up choosing. So the grappling hook allows you to swing, it doesn't reel you in, although it used to. Let me explain. At first I wanted to make the best grappling hook ever. I planned to make it reel you in towards where you threw it if you clicked with your mouse, and if you held your mouse, it would just stay as is and let you swing. And I did make it like this, but the problem arose from where I didn't expect. It was too good. It basically made all other movement options obsolete. Why would you dash with your katana if you could just fling yourself with a grapple? Why would you sniper boost? Why would you engage with any other movement mechanic at all when the grapple is all you really need? And so I ended up making the decision to only live with swinging ability, and that way it fits nicely with everything else. You can't really gain speed with it, but you can control where you are moving. And sometimes decisions like these are very much needed. Thank you for watching. Before you go though, I have a few small announcements to make. First of all, I created a Discord server. Joining it and being active is probably the best way to support me right now. It truly means the world to me to see that people care about what I make. The second announcement is that the next video will take a long time to make, and that is because I have a big plan to implement most of the story things by then. I'll probably make a few shorts to not let the channel die, but it's likely going to be a long wait. And for now that's it. Bye bye!